Get ready. It's time for the Me.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Me and Jesse podcast. My name is Mark Pavelich, and away in the Grove, I think that looks like maybe a Caesar in his hand, but we'll find out soon, everybody. The one and only, the star of the show, Jesse Martineau.
It is. I just whipped up a little Caesar for the show today.
You did, eh?
I did.
Yeah.
Well, the Detroit Red Wings and Little Caesar's place, or whatever they call that bullshit down there in Detroit.
What's crazy is that I made myself a little cocktail today too, because I really needed it today. Like you have those days where you're like going okay, and then there's something that comes in the middle of that day, and then it just fucked up everything. Well,
are you sure that was today? Or was
that that was yesterday,
yes.
at running into today.
Right.
You know what's funny? I have to figure, I can't stand 11 a.m. games, because what happens is at 11 a.m. my team looks like dog shit, and then literally gets.
They forgot.
Let me explain this to you. The Raiders lose to the Chicago Bears, who are 1-5,
with a back,
who haven't won in 1 year at home. Okay, haven't won at 1 year. Not alone just didn't win at 1 year at home. They had a quarterback that it was his first start in the NFL. Okay, now let me explain to you that's not his fault. In fact, he played fantastic. But you know what the funny part is? He never even played, and you know this better than anybody because you know about college football. He didn't even play Division I college football. Okay, he played Division II college football. So let me bring you back, my friend, my dear friend Jesse Martineau. The Raiders didn't lose to a team that was 1-5 and have not won at home for over a year. They lost to a backup quarterback who never even played Division I football, played Division II football, and it was his opening. They just didn't lose. They got routed, okay? So let me explain this to you really quickly, and I'll just say this one time, and I'll get it out of the way for the people that watch our show, and I love you all so much, and we can't thank you enough for your support. But you know what? I can't get over this, because it just ruins my Sundays. It ruins part of my Monday, because I cannot believe how horrific this team can do this, let alone that the coach, McDaniels, has to get out of Las Vegas. I believe the ownership group of Mark Davis needs to he needs to sell the team. Someone please find really bad dirt on this guy so that he has to sell the team, because he clearly doesn't know what he's doing, and we clearly can see that. And it's like, you know what, you watch now sports, Jesse, and you watch sports, and you look at your team like Seattle. Okay, you have DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
Okay, and you go, okay, and you got a Geno Smith that no one believed in, but then all of a sudden Geno believed in himself. And I love Geno. I do. I just love everything about him. Wait a second. I got to make sure my volume's okay. I got to hear you, right? Because I know you're making these little smart, I can hear you making these little smart comments underneath your voice.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure I hear them all.
Yes.
So you know what I've realized in life this weekend? That team means everything. And what I mean by that is you got I'm going to go all over the place on you here, because I've been waiting to say this all day today. You have the Edmonton Oilers that look like absolute crap right now. And then I saw a video the other day in the NHL where they asked like 20 of the top players in the NHL, who are the two best players in the NHL? 90% of them said McDavid and Draisaitl.
Sure. Yeah.
90% said that.
90%
now,
of them.
90% of the great players in the NHL said that. Now, can you imagine that you have the two best players in the NHL on your team, and your team is this bad? And then you look at other teams like the Raiders. They have Devontae Adams. They have Josh Jacobs. They have this new receiver kid, too, that's just
dynamite.
Just
He's
dynamite.
the only one doing anything.
No, he's dynamite. Okay, Myers is dynamite. So did you see what I just did? I just randomly named 3 or 4 great people on the team, and they suck ass. Now, we just talked a second ago about Seattle and how they're winning games. They're competitive. They don't lay down for nobody. And what did we name? DK Metcalf, who's arguably just so phenomenal of a football player. And who else? We didn't really name anybody else, right? You know why, Jesse? It's called team. And if you can't be a team, you can't win. It doesn't matter. Look at my beloved Detroit Red Wings right now. 5-1.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You know, most people
do anything.
Yeah, but let's 5-1. Can you imagine? Now, people can only name one guy on the whole Detroit Red Wings, Larkin. You can only remember one guy's name, and it's Larkin. Most people can't even remember Larkin. Larkin is lighting it up. But you know what the crazy part is? It's called team. The rest of the team bought into this whole system of like, let's go, let's go. We're going this direction. It's hockey. We all played it since we were 5 years old. Right. Nothing's changed. Nothing. Just the speed of it's changed. So let's go out there and all stick together and let's be a team and win. Now, why isn't this happening with the Raiders? Why isn't this happening with the Oilers? Because there's no team.
You know what else there isn't? Clearly a barber for the owner of the Raiders.
He looks like an idiot. Like, look, no, Jesse, honest to God, like, please stop it, everybody. Stop. He looks like an idiot, like an absolute idiot. And people, like, who lets this guy go out in public like that? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like,
when you have like millions of dollars, people don't care. And apparently,
millions, billions.
When you have billions, you cut your own hair, apparently. We'll be right back, everybody, on the Me and Jesse podcast.
Yeah, that's exactly
right. Get ready. It's time for the Me and Jesse podcast with Mark Pavelich and Jesse Martineau. Get ready.
I'm still going, everybody. I'm so sorry.
He's talking this whole break now because he's on tilt. If there was a tilt button, Mark's pushed it. Because the Raiders, let's talk.
Look at the UFC was on this weekend, right? And you had Cumshot fighting what's his name? Help me. Usman, right? Yeah. So Usman goes on Twitter today and he says, you know, I made an attempt at greatness and I didn't achieve it, right? And I said to him on Twitter today, I said, you know what, Usman, you are great. You took a fight on 10 days notice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And you went up a weight class. Yeah. And you went up a weight class, bro. And you didn't get knocked out. It went to decision. It was a close fight. And what I'm trying to tell you is I'm not saying you achieved anything, but you sure weren't a disappointment.
No.
And so this is what I'm trying to tell you. These are the guys that see how he puts that much pressure on himself, you know? And what I'm trying to tell people at home is I wish some of these NFL players and NHL players put the pressure of what these MMA guys are doing. Like they put that kind of like heart and dedication into a sport. And it just seems like there's something missing right now. You're right, Jesse. Jesse does not watch NHL hockey until maybe sometime in April or May. Yeah. He'll turn it on. And the reason why is because you have to you will go through 84 games of this heartache and pain consistently happening over and over again. And it's just like it's disgusting. It is.
Well, and then you factor in the NFL, which is absolutely even more because every week is like 10 games of hockey. And so you like And I just think the NFL is just being dramatic now. They've sent a memo to all the owners and hey, blow out this one and upset this one. There were some major upsets yesterday. The Lions.
I don't care what anybody says. There's no way you can bet on football.
No,
because they got it. They got it some kind of.
Yesterday, people lost money. There's no question.
Oh, lost money. Listen, I don't know how people can actually make any money in football when the Lions get blown out by 35 points.
I know.
Which when the Chicago beats Raiders by 21 points.
When the Patriots beat the Bills.
Yeah, beat the Bills. Like, tell me how this happens.
I think the NFL is just being dramatic. Of course, like the Chiefs and the Eagles, who are elite, they're going to win, and the Dolphins look back to earth. But you look at the Lions, who get the smackdown laid on them.
Yeah, and they were playing unreal. They were playing unreal.
Somehow the Giants win, but the Patriots over Bills, that is mind blowing.
Yes.
Mind-blowing for how bad the Patriots have been this season.
They've been horrific. They've been beyond horrific.
Oh, it's horrible. So, again, we were writing off Belichick last week. He just beat the Bills. The Bills of all places, he beat the Bills. It's crazy what's going on.
It really is. It's mind-boggling.
Honestly, I gave you the game yesterday, the Bears Raiders. I gave the Raiders the win on that, and they got beat. Like, it was embarrassing. I don't even understand.
No, but that's when you walk in, Jesse. That's when you walk in, okay? When Mark Davis has the courage, okay? This fucking pussy, okay? That's what he is. He's literally such a pussy. His face is just a pussy. Like his whole face. And what he said, no, it is, Jesse. He's just a pussy. Like, but you understand, like, do you understand if you did a job that bad where you worked at, your boss would come into the office.
Yeah, but he is the boss.
Watch this, though. No, but your boss would come in the office and give you a warning. And then he'd give you another warning. And he might give you another warning. If he really likes you, he'll give you a fourth warning. How many warnings has he gave to Josh McDaniels?
None.
I mean,
none.
Yeah.
He hasn't given any because
None.
he doesn't know what's going on. And you look at their coach record over the last 8 years, it's been brutal. And so, no, I don't think he's given any warning. I think he's delusional on what's going on there. And they just, and I mean, I don't know what's going on with the Raiders. They just can't do it. And okay, Garoppolo was out. Sure, that helps you get there. But giving up 30 to the Bears, like you give 30 to the Bears.
And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? You start to dissect it even more. And of course, Max Crosby is Max Crosby, and you can't talk too much shit about him because he's just a savage. But as we noticed in football, you need the 10 other players to click on the same page as you are. Nobody is clicking on the same page as him. So you have one guy on defense, and he does get his X amount of sacks in every game. But then you go to the offense, and you look at a guy like Hoyer, who is the backup quarterback. He's been playing in the NFL for 15 years and never been a starter. There's a reason why this guy has never been a starter, man. Like, it's not brain science. The guy's never been a starter because he's dog shit. He's terrible. That's why he's been sitting on the bench for 15 years. He can't deal with the pressure. He can't deal with long ball throws in the NFL. He threw the ball long 4 or 5 times to nobody. He was throwing it out to the garbage cans on the sideline. Like, it was crazy. He was throwing the ball long, but not even close. And that once again gives you an indication that this is way over his head. And this is what I'm talking about just in general. But we won't have to worry about them making the playoffs. And then we'll go. But Seattle looked good yesterday, and the reason why is because you have someone like Pete Carroll that keeps evolving as a coach. He's a little bit older. People are thinking, you got to replace him. He's getting better as he gets older.
Crazy,
he is, because he's getting things done with less pieces now, and he's still getting it done. And it's like that to me comes to coaching, and that's where coaching really shows. It's like, here, look at me, and I am looking at him because he's doing a great job. But there's a lot of, like, look at KC even, people shit talk KC all, like, before the season because they didn't blow out every team by 30, 40 points anymore, but they're still winning.
Yeah.
They're still winning. And this is what people don't understand. Reed is a great coach. He doesn't, where is his big star is in Miami, but Miami gets run over yesterday too.
Yeah.
So Tyreek Hill, I think, is at least the number 1 or 2 player in the NFL. No question he is. Yeah. He goes from KC to Miami. Miami's doing much better now, but they got busted up yesterday. And this is what I'm trying to tell you is this is a team thing. Everybody knows how to play the game, whether it be hockey or football. It's the team camaraderie. If you don't have that, you can't win.
Yeah. And also, too, like, there is the coaching aspect, which I think you're absolutely right. And NFL really matters. It really matters, like, so much.
They have 14 coaches.
Yeah.
They have 14 coaches. It must matter.
Well, I mean, there's 32 coaches, but, like,
no. There's 14 coaches on a team.
Oh, on a
there's
team, yeah.
14 coach.
Yeah,
there's a defense, offense.
Most of the time, that head coaches brings in a team, right? So, like, it does. And the systems in place, like, coaching matters in the NFL more than maybe any other sport.
I totally agree.
You look at the Chiefs and the Eagles, and they're doing really well. And then you look at the Patriots beating the Bills. Like you can't deny Bill Belichick, as much as you want to hate him, is the greatest coach of all time. And he can somehow put together with like shoestring players, like garbage players. And come
garbage
out on top of the Bills. Like it is crazy when you look at the coaching. Then you look at the Raiders. And Josh McDaniels, like obviously one of the great coordinators in the game.
Coordinator.
Yeah. But as a head coach, he doesn't have this thing. He doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
And they should have something a little bit more. What's the problem? What is the problem in Vegas? They keep betting on red and it's coming up black. Because
that's right. Yeah, that's right, Jesse. That's a great analogy.
And they're not going out and dictating the game anymore. They're actually just trying to like react to the bad things that happen to them. And there's a lot of bad things that happen to them. They give up the ball too much. They take weird shots down the field when they shouldn't be, and then they don't take a shot when they should. And
there's 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. You're down by 1,000,000 points, and you're kicking field goals.
I know.
Do you understand how bananas?
Try to do something. Just try to be positive and get something.
Jesse, it's not even going for it. It's just common sense. You're down so many points. You're kicking field goals in the fourth quarter. Right there and then, this is something that's over your head. This is not. You're not capable of dealing with it with this type of experience, because you shouldn't even think twice about it. I believe this. I did. There was a study done a long time ago, and it was on 60 Minutes, and some football coach in high school was going after he crosses your 40-yard line, no more field goals. He goes for it on fourth down.
For sure.
Did you see that ever, Jesse? That thing they were talking about, and literally the percentages of completing it over kicking field goals, whatever, over the course of a year was astronomical. The difference of your score. It's like, how can I explain to you? It's like hitting a 3-wood off a par 5 instead of hitting your driver.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the difference. It's like, you're going to get the ball down there, but you're not going to hit the green in 2.
And sometimes, it's got to be, they're too conservative with a lot of that stuff too.
Yeah, yes, and that's how I look at it. What's
crazy weapons.
I played the other day, and all year long I've been hitting a 3-wood and 5-wood off the tee because of my back, right? So I'm on a swing hard with a driver. So the TaylorMade comes out with this new driver called the Burner. So Dr. Rob, my dear friend, one of my golf partners, he has a Burner, so I want to try it. He said, Mark, why don't you try it and hit it? And if you like it, you'll get one. You'll get one. So what happens is, I start hitting the Burner, and I play the front 9, I shoot a score, and then I play the back 9, literally 5 shots lower.
Yeah, wow.
But and what I'm trying to explain to you is I'm about common sense. So, and as you said on the show many times, is common sense isn't so common anymore. But what I am saying is, see, I'm able to pick that up now. I'm able to pick that up like, okay, the fairways are really wide on 90% of any courses that you play, regardless, as you see now in the world we live in, they make them wide for all the golfers to hit. So what happens now is I'm hitting this Burner driver off the tee, 275 right down the middle.
Yeah.
So now I'm on a par 5. I hit the Burner driver, and I hit a 5-wood, and I'm on the green. So in 2, so do you get what I'm talking about? Like, I can hit the 3-wood forever, or the 5-wood up just to get the ball out there, and then I got to hit another shot. Then I got to hit a pitching wedge, and then I'm on the green in 3. I might 2-putt for a 5. I might 3-putt for a bogey. But this is the mathematics of the game. Now, I'm giving you the golf analogy because the same analogy takes place in NFL or the NHL. You tell me what has changed about the NHL, Jesse, in the last 50 years. Please explain this to me, the great Jesse Martineau. Please explain to me what has changed in the NHL in the last 50 years when it comes to there's one goal down there, there's a center, there's a puck. Now, yes, the obvious. The sticks, the goal. In fact, it's harder now because the goalies are bigger now in the net. The pads are bigger. All this stuff is bigger, but the speed of the game has made the difference. Yes. But the game itself has not changed in 50 years. Right. So what I'm trying to tell you is they all know how to play hockey. It's when you take Jimmy from Saskatoon, Pete from, you know, Ypsilanti, Michigan. You take this guy. I'm making up these, you know, all over the place, right? But you put them all together, and they're all sitting around, and they all have to find a way to coincide and get along with each other, but not just get along, but create a brotherhood. When you create a brotherhood, what happens now is people will kill for each other. If you don't create the brotherhood, whether it be in the NHL or NFL, people all got their own agendas. They got their own agendas. They're going to go this way. They're going to go that way. Oh, yeah, we won. We lost. We're going to go hang out anyway. Who cares? Hey, we'll meet you at the bar after, you know, when we lose. It doesn't matter.
Well, one thing I find that for sure. And I find the buy-in, I think you're talking about too. Like the buy-in in pro sports has definitely changed. Yeah. When you look at like college sports, especially college football, the buy-in is huge. Like, I mean, you can't get much bigger in terms of like the buy-in for a team. Like you bleed. If your family goes to that school, like no one else, you can't cheer for anybody else.
It's not allowed.
You bleed that school for your life.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's the fans. The players do the same thing, and the players don't get to go other places usually. It's very rare that it happens. They buy in. They choose where they go. That's the other thing, too.
Yeah, you're right.
They choose where they go out of high school. So there's something about buy-in that the pro teams right now that are struggling aren't getting. When you look at your Red Wings, I mean, again, like you could say there's buy-in. I mean, they're 5-1. They've scored the most goals in the NHL in that 6 games. They've got 30, and they've only allowed 15. That's mind-blowing for a team that's supposed to be
from last year.
They're not supposed to be good. And so they're up there with the Bruins for crying out loud. But they've scored the most. They've scored more than the Oilers, who have scored, get this, Mark, 13 goals this year in 5 games.
Jesse, this is what I'm trying to tell you. There's something fundamentally fun, and you cannot fix this on the fly, which means that you gotta sit down and really like fix this. Like if it doesn't get fixed, it just continues on in this fashion. Yes, you'll win a few games. Something will happen, but you're not gonna go to the end. And if you're not getting ready in professional sports to go to the end, why are you playing? Why are you playing?
Well, you look at the other teams in the league that are doing well, and they're all over 20-plus goals. It's mind-blowing that you have McDavid and Draisaitl on a team.
Two best players.
And they've got 13 goals
correct
on the team.
That's unbelievable.
It is crazy what's going on there. And there's also given up 20. So, which we've talked about the goaltending and the defense for a long time now. But the goal scoring is what the problem was. The Oilers know they have to play like they did in the 80s, and they have to score and score and score because they're going to give up 3 goals a game easily. As you give a 3 spot off the top. But the Oilers scoring 13 goals in the 5 games already is mind-blowingly low for where everyone thought they were going to be.
Oh, yeah. No, you know what happens? Everybody has started picking them to win the Stanley Cup because they are the team that lost the last 2 years to the people that have won the Stanley Cup.
Right.
So usually that's the protocol, right? So they go, oh, this is the year they're going to win. Now, maybe you read that. Maybe you read that a few times. Maybe you're watching TSN or you're watching Sportsnet or you're watching ESPN and they're telling you you're going to win the Stanley Cup. News flash, everybody. You still got to go do it.
Yeah, you got to go do it.
You got to go do it. And in fact, you could believe your press clippings all you want, but that should piss you off because you haven't won shit. You haven't won nothing.
It's true.
You went a few rounds. You made it to the end, almost to the end, but you didn't win shit. 2 best players in the NHL. Listen, you know what happened? McDavid just got hurt. Okay, so McDavid is going to be out for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
1 to 2 weeks. He won't play in the Heritage game. It looks like he will not play next week. The Heritage game is at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, Calgary versus Edmonton. It's a big deal. It's a big event every year. People buy tickets. People go to it. McDavid probably won't play. Now, best player in the NHL won't play. So, but it'll still be a big deal. Everybody's going to go to it. No problem. But McDavid's not going to play. when does McDavid start becoming not the best player in the NHL, but the best leader? When does that happen?
I think that's
When,
the question. You're
listen,
right.
let me listen. I don't give a shit. Everybody can listen. They shine this kid's skates. They throw rose petals in front of this kid when he walks. They in the city of Edmonton, he literally can walk down Jasper fucking Avenue, and they will literally part like Moses parting the Red Sea. They will do anything for this kid. I'm asking you now. When are you going to become a leader to this team instead of just the best hockey player in the world? Because it seems like Draisaitl and McDavid have yet to take on that leadership in the dressing room. So apparently, Evander Kane has not done it. Whoever else hasn't done it.
Well,
So
McDavid
and Draisaitl, your peers are calling you the greatest hockey players in the league. When are you two going to stand up and stop just playing hockey and lead this team to a Stanley Cup?
It's the question that I've had about McDavid ever since he's
Yes.
come into the league. I say it every year, and you look at Crosby, you look
Yes.
at Stamkos, you look at Jonathan Taves, Nathan McKinnon, or not Nathan, guy in Colorado, whatever. But you look at these guys, and they're leaders. They lead their team, and everyone knows it. They put the team on their back. Like, you look at the great teams, like Jerome McGinley was one of those guys for me because I love him, and he put the team on his back. You look at guys, and you can look back throughout the years, and you see the guy that did it. And unfortunately, as good as McDavid is, I don't ever see him putting the team on his back. I see him getting frustrated at his team.
Yeah.
There's a difference there. Like, yeah, you can be upset and mad, but you can't take it out on your own team. Crosby, when they weren't playing well, he'd get mad at someone else on the other team or the ref or whatever. And people made fun of him for that. But he didn't get mad at his own team. And he took everything on himself and not only played at a high level, took all the flack himself and dealt with it himself so the rest of his team could be good and not have to deal with that too. And McDavid skirts that issue. He bypasses that pressure and he passes it off on other people. Well, but he doesn't say it. Yeah, not saying it is the problem. He's not saying anything to take it all on himself. Like these other greats that have won cups and win consistently cups do. They do that all the time, and McDavid just hasn't done it yet.
Well, did you see the interview the other day with Draisaitl when the reporter asked him? He said, the goalie screwed up behind the net. What are you going to say to him? What are you going to say to him? And Draisaitl got really upset with the reporter. He said, "What am I going to tell him? What am I going to tell him?" And initially, I thought, that's nice that he said it that way. I like the way Draisaitl said it. But why didn't Draisaitl say it? Imagine if Draisaitl would have said, "What are you going to tell him?" "I'm going to tell him to take his head out of his ass." Okay. It was a dog shit. It was terrible what he did. And I love him, but we got to start calling each other out on our mistakes. So he better tighten that shit up moving forward. Imagine if Leon Draisaitl flipped the script and said that to the goalie on publicly. If he's listen, I call it the Eberle rule. Remember Eberle?
Yeah.
If the coach said something that one time and he went to his agent and said he wanted to be traded from Edmonton because he couldn't take how the coach said something to him. That's the problem with the sport of hockey. I've always said this about the sport of hockey. There's a subculture involved in it where most kids that play Atom, Pee-wee, Bantam, whatever they all play, there's a kind of a weird entitlement of, when you start to play AAA hockey and you're playing rep hockey, you become this human being that thinks, your shit doesn't stink. No one can tell you anything. The coach shouldn't talk to you that way. And that's something that is completely wrong about hockey.
And that's where I compare football immensely to it, because football, they don't take that. High school, you're not anything. And the coach owns you. When you go to college, they own you.
They own you.
And then when you get to the NFL, that's when you get some guys. And there's always guys that are going to be like stand out and push that envelope. But
that's right.
The
vast
majority of them don't feel entitled at all. And they go out there and do their job. And there's guys in the NHL that do their jobs too, but I would say the majority of them are entitled, especially the elite. The elite in the NHL, they right now anyway, a lot of them feel that entitlement and they don't want to talk to any press or anything. But they forget this is that this is entertainment still. And the entertaining part is they have to talk to the fans about stuff. And when they don't talk to the fans get frustrated, and it creates something even worse around your team unless why not just own it? And I think McDavid really needs to do that. I think he needs to actually stand up and say, hey, I'm taking the ownership of this thing, and this is on me. I'm carrying this team now. But to be honest, I don't think he can. I don't think
no,
he
it's
can.
not. It's not who he is.
He's always been given the best. Everyone's always said don't bother him, and he's grown up and he just can't do it. And so,
can you imagine this kid, the level of hockey player he is, and he goes through his whole entire career and doesn't win a Stanley Cup?
I can't imagine that. I don't. Think I don't think
now
he will right
now you can, because how many years has he been playing now? Is he 10 years? Is it 10 years yet? He's almost. Is it that much? Almost close.
Maybe it's his 9th season.
Yeah. Okay. So, but he's been playing a while now, right? And then they do the comparison where they say Ovechkin didn't win till 11 seasons, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a crunch between that. Check how long McDavid's been playing. It's about 9 or 10 years now, and they haven't really even sniffed the cup yet. They've kind of went around it,
he's
but
in
not.
his 10th season.
Oh, there you go. He's in his 10th season. So, you get to the point now where you go, can you imagine this kid, the level of hockey player he is? Like when you watch him live, it's not real. Like we've seen him live, and I mean, live is crazy. Like the speed of the speed at which he plays at. I've seen the greatest hockey players play live. I've seen Gretzky play live. I've seen Guy Lafleur. I've seen Lemieux. I've seen Fedorov. I've seen Yzerman. I've seen everybody play live. Nobody. Gretzky. Nobody.
The speed at which he does things.
Nobody.
He does things with the puck that, other guys can do that with the puck, but nobody can do it at that speed. And that is true. Like, it is true. But this is hockey. This isn't golf. So you can't just rely on yourself in that team aspect. And you only play half the game, really. And so, you do that stuff, but other teams figured this shit out. They
have. But Jesse, don't you think they have? They have figured it out because, as you said earlier on in the show, how many goals they got this year, because people figure how to jam him now at center ice instead of let him cross that line, and they don't let him get that momentum going. And they do that same thing all the time when they're on a power play. He starts out with the puck from center, and they kind of clear the way for him to go, and they just jam him now. They're jamming him. It's like a trap hockey. So they do that to him, and then he gets kind of, and that's what people don't understand. They're like, you understand, there's a lot of smart people in the NHL. They're going to figure this shit out. That's what, same with the NFL. They're going to figure this out. They're not going to let you just run on them. No. And that's what's happened now. And you see that in football. Football is crazy because now you literally have 12 coaches on each team. You have guys up in the box, watching everything. And then you got guys on the field. Everybody's walking with their hand over their mouth like this, like they're in the mafia, because they don't want the other side reading their lips.
Yep.
I mean, it's to that level that you have to. That's the NFL doing that, and it's like, wow, But it still comes down to it. The players have to play.
They do. That's it. Like, you can be as well coached as you want. The players still have to play. And so, what is it like? Again, I think that McDavid obviously is feeling that 10th season pressure and trying to do too much, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
But there's got to be a time when he helps the rest of his team give it. And that's what the great players did also. Not only did they lead outside of off the ice, but they made everyone else around them better. They made it like Dave Semenko had like 50 goals or whatever it was, like crazy. Like, the guy didn't know how to play at all. So you look at guys like that. He needs to do that to everyone else on his team, and he just isn't.
See, I trained multiple guys in the UFC. Okay, so I trained 3 or 4 different guys that fought in the UFC. Arguably, none of them probably should have been in the UFC, but I willed them to get there.
Right.
Now they had talent, they had the mindset, but they were missing something.
Hmm.
They came to me for one reason and one reason only. Not that I can show them how to armbar anybody better or throw a punch better. I just had a way of putting it all together in a way where guys went, "Oh, yeah, he believes in me more than I
Right.
believe in myself."
Right.
And what happens was I was more of a motivator than I was a trainer.
Hmm.
And the difference was I could do all these things that I was yelling at them about. So that was the great part. But what I'm trying to explain to you is I couldn't just be quiet. I just couldn't do my talking in the ring because I wasn't in the ring. I was outside the ring. So I had to do it in training. So when I was training them, aka Jason McDonald, aka Victor Valimaki, aka Ryan McGilvery. All these guys all fought in the UFC. But what I'm trying to tell you is my whole thing is to like motivate them mentally to play when it was game time. And when it was game time, they were ready to go. I can remember sitting in Florida, Sunrise, Florida, at the Seminole Casino, Jason McDonald's first fight. The whole training camp, I was yelling at him. They're bringing you to the UFC, Jason, to be a stepping stone. And I remember, if you remember, we had Jason McDonald on
Yes,
our
I
show.
remember.
He brought that up,
Yeah.
and they kept telling him he's going to be so in training. I said it to him 400 times a day. They're bringing you to be a stepping stone. They're
Yeah.
bringing you to be a stepping
Right.
stone, and nobody ever wants to be a stepping
No.
stone. Do you
No.
understand what that is?
Yeah.
That means look up the expression stepping stone, everybody. It means you're a stone and they're going to step on top
Yeah.
of you to get to the next
You're
stone.
an easy W.
Yes, you're an easy W. So I kept putting this in his head. Now, sports psychologists in the world are going to tell you something, oh, yeah, they're going to tell you how to breathe and do this other bullshit. My version is much different. So I was telling this in his head the whole time. So in his first UFC fight, he gets out there, he's fighting the guy that wins the Ultimate Fighter, and he goes in there and destroys him.
Yeah.
And as we're walking to the octagon, I say to Jason McDonald, I say, can you believe, Jason, that they brought you here to be a stepping stone? And he goes bananas, bro. It was like I hit him with electric prongs. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
bro, he ran to the octagon, kicks the shit out of Ed Herman. And then in the interview with Joe Rogan says, I'm nobody's stepping stone. And they looked at him like, what the hell are you talking about? Right. But because in training camp for 7 weeks, I was reiterating this to him day after day after day after
Yeah.
day. Now, that's what these teams need. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's the coach or another player or whatever the case may be, but they need someone to get that brain clicking the right way, because you all started playing hockey around the same time in your lives. You all played Adam, you all played Pee Wee, you all played everything. They changed all the names of the hockey organizations now. I'm not sure what you can call them or not call them, but you all played AAA hockey, you all played rep hockey, and now you're here in the NHL. What's the difference between the teams? It's the teams that have the camaraderie, they have the connection
Yeah.
between them all. And if you don't have it, you can't win. Regardless, if the entire NHL says that McDavid and Draisaitl are the best two players in the NHL, apparently it's not working.
I wonder if and I don't know how much they do this or not, but how much like sports psychologists they have and come and actually talk to these guys, because there is something today that people now are much more okay with, like the therapy idea. But there's
I don't know, maybe guys they're not okay with that. Like
maybe not. But I think
Yeah.
today's people are a lot more open to it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
if
they are.
it was my team, I would make people go through that.
Oh,
I would make people do it.
Jesse, it would be mandatory.
Yeah,
If you were
100%.
playing on my team, you would have to probably see them multiple times a week.
Yeah.
And I'm not even joking. I would have one traveling with us.
Absolutely.
I would
think
have
so
one-
too. You never know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And so why not have someone that can actually help them through that stuff? And then
It has nothing to do with hockey,
it
Jesse.
doesn't
That's
have
what
anything
they-
to hockey, but it has to do
Yes.
with your brain. And so,
Yes.
and that's the thing, because
Yeah.
if you can get some of that stuff out of the way, then you can focus on playing a lot more. And so I don't know how much they actually do it for everybody, but I think
yeah.
that teams that are struggling right now need that a lot.
No, but I would have one on retainer. Like I would
Yeah.
like with the amount of money we're making anyway with the NHL or the NFL, I would have multiple ones
Absolutely.
available. Do you ever watch Billions?
Yeah. With George
Okay.
Paul Giamatti or whatever his name
Yes,
is.
yeah, that's right. Okay. So they have one on staff on Billions all the time, right? She's on staff. And I thought when I saw that take place, these high-end traders are using a psychiatrist at all times. And every time they go on tilt, they walk into the room that's literally steps away from them and they go talk to her.
Yeah.
And she brings them back into like, brings them on to like, crusher mode. And you know what's funny? When I watch Billions, I think to myself, how sports teams, if they don't have that in their actual building,
Yeah.
because if you think to yourself they'll never be busy, but you have literally coaches, assistant coaches, players on staff that they would all use
I would
this
make
person.
it mandatory. I would make it mandatory.
No, but even if you didn't make it mandatory, if you walk by this door multiple times, you would start to realize that I don't care if you're the stick guy on the team.
Yeah.
You might need to go be a better stick guy, and you better go see the team psychiatrist who literally puts your brain back into check.
Yeah. It is one of those things that I think
I
has
agree.
to happen more, and especially for these elite guys that clearly can't handle the pressure. And I'm going to say it, like, he can't handle the pressure. McDavid
Well,
can't
it's
handle
10 seasons.
I know.
It's 10 seasons. So he's got the best highlight reel in all of hockey history, but not a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you.
Didn't even go to the show yet.
No.
Yeah. That's the
Yeah.
other thing.
No.
Hasn't
Didn't
even
even
been there.
hasn't. No. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. See, you know what's great about having our own podcast, Jesse? We can tell the truth, and where there's no repercussions for telling the truth. And if we were on these other shows, you can't tell the truth, because what happens is then you got to worry about your press pass being revoked. And see, we don't give a shit about no press passes. We don't give a shit about none of that stuff. We never have. We never will. And that's because, but you want the truth, you come to the Me and Jesse podcast, and you'll hear it, because that's the problem. But this kid, he has to become the leader, not just the best hockey player in the world.
Absolutely. We'll be right back, everybody, on the Me and Jesse podcast. Introducing Backscape, the superhero of back hair removal.
Hey there, I'm in Backscape World Headquarters. My name is Baxter Archibald Kingscape, spokesperson here at Backscape. And I know why you're here. Either you or someone you know has one hairy back, and you're trying to get rid of it.
We understand the struggle with unruly back hair. In fact, 77% of women agree it's not the ideal look. But don't worry, we're here to help you reach your smoothest potential. We've built Backscape to tame that wild back jungle in minutes. Our mission is to empower every man to feel his best, look his best, and help him reach his smoothest potential.
Backscape gives you the confidence whether you're at the pool, the beach, hey, anywhere you go. You can stay smooth all year long.
Our patented technology ensures the smoothest, most comfortable, and close shave every time.
We believe in something else here at Backscape, and that's how you feel about us. Our customer service is the best. Hey, even if you need relationship advice, our customer service agents are that good.
We're so confident that you'll love the Backscape experience that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try Backscape risk-free. When you choose Backscape, you're gaining a friend. We're here for you, guiding you on your smooth journey to a smoother, more confident you.
You know, being smooth in today's world is a commodity. I used to look like this, but after Backscape, you can see what you're dealing with.
You can maintain the highest quality grooming standards.
Jesse, have you not played pickleball in the last few months? Because why? Tell the viewers.
I tore my Achilles tendon playing pickleball.
There you go, everybody. They didn't know, Jesse. You didn't say it to anybody. I checked.
Yeah. It sucks.
Do you still have a cast on? Do you still have a cast on?
I don't have it on anymore. And it's healing well. It's just, it takes time.
That's a weird, isn't that a weird, is it the same one that Rogers has? The same injury?
Yep. It is.
The same one.
Yep.
Same one.
Yeah. So they're, the people, like he did this, like revolutionary new procedure to get it fixed, but it's still going to take a long time for him to come back because it's just not something that you can just hope that it's better. You have to make sure.
Does the Achilles break? Does it
can
break?
tear.
Is that what
it tears and severs?
It teared.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it sucks because you can't. It's like the most important tendon in your body to make you move, and so if you can't use it, you're not moving fast or at all. So
Wow.
yeah, Rogers did that like just after I did. I think the week after, but yeah, or a couple weeks after. But anyway, it's messed up and it takes time to come back from that one. So hopefully it does.
And so, how long has it been for you right now?
Did it in the middle of August.
Wow.
I know. They say it's a 12-month full window to recover.
12 months
To come back, yeah.
So you won't be playing pickleball till next year.
Well, there's a potential I could play in January if everything goes right for the next few months. But it won't be at nearly full.
Like you'll just be like just
yeah, it won't be like full speed. I won't be able to like do do more intense stuff for sure.
Wow.
It's one of those things that you just cannot. You can't really get.
How did they fix it?
Well, now Rogers did an experimental surgery, but usually they don't do surgery anymore. They actually, your body, because it's the strongest tendon in your body actually focuses on healing it because, 1,000 years ago, if that happened to you, you were screwed. So you do it. So most people, 90% of the people wear a boot where they're like in a high heel for like 8 weeks, and then it it heals short, and then you stretch it out and build the strength back up, and you're like, it sucks. And now I don't have any strength in to push off.
You can feel it.
Oh yeah.
You can feel like you have
my tippy toes. I can't.
You what?
If I try to go up on my toes, I can't.
Oh no, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean it is what it is, but it sucks. Yeah.
Terrible.
Man, it's sad because I had all winter lined up. I was playing the best I've ever played.
Wow.
I know.
You're getting good at it too, eh?
Well, I'm adequate.
Well, come on. I know you're shy about it, but come on, you're good.
Well, it's fun. I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's a great sport.
Cool. Very cool game.
Yeah. It's getting more popular.
It's on television now.
I know. It was. They're starting to figure out how to film it properly, so now it's starting to get a little more mainstream. And and for TV, they're doing like rally point versus the only one side can score at a time, which is lame.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, the UFC was this weekend.
Yes. We had, listen, you had comes up fighting Usman,
Makachev and Volkanovski.
Volkanovski got knocked out, and once again, we can't I know I love him. I love Volkanovski. I think he's what MMA is, and what I mean by that is he stepped up on very short notice to fight a weight class above him. The first fight went the distance, very close fight. Arguably Volkanovski won, but they gave it to Makachev, and what happened was he got knocked out, right? And once again, it's like, of course you're sad, you're down, but I saw something really weird when Volk was talking. I think he suffers from massive mental illness, and when he said that if he doesn't have fighting to look forward to, that he sits in very dark places, and that when he doesn't fight or have a fight on the horizon, that he's not in a good place, and that's something, I don't know if a lot of people caught that, but most people that suffer from mental illness, when they hear those words, they know that that's not just a line for him, that's an actual real thing for him. And so Volk is an absolute stud. He's still the 145-pound world champion. He's trying to be a double champ. It's not easy, and there's a reason why it's not easy, and only a few people have done it. But big props to him. And then, of course, on the this weekend coming up, we definitely have a fight on our hands. So we have Francis Ngannou against the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. And, our dear friend Jolina is in the camp with Tyson
Yeah.
Fury,
Yeah.
and also Sugar Hill,
Yep.
who's his trainer, who's also been on this show.
Yeah.
He's there too. They're in Abu Dhabi or wherever they're doing this
Yeah,
fight.
Abu Dhabi, I think.
Abu Dhabi, yeah, and you know the fight's this weekend, so that should be extremely interesting because I have no idea. Of course, I think Tyson Fury is going to demolish him, but as the world we've seen lately, you never know what's going to happen because Francis Ngannou, there's one thing we do know about him: he's got a strong punch.
Yeah, absolutely it does. But do you think this is like, man, it is a weird one because you're like, why does this guy get a shot?
Yeah, I don't know if they consider it an exhibition match or is it a like is it,
I don't
it
know if
can't
the belts are on the line.
there is no belts on the line, right?
Yeah.
There isn't because you can't give a guy that never had a fight in boxing a shot at the WBC. Yeah, they won't. They won't. So yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the UFC just says it. Is Chimaev like one of the best up and comers right now? Like, is he?
Yeah, there's no question he is. I do see certain things that he does incorrectly. It's like, but you as long as you can weather the first round, your chances escalate as the rounds go on. So on the weekend, Saturday's fight, it was a 3-round fight.
Mm-hmm.
When he fought Gilbert Burns, it was a 5-round fight, and Gilbert Burns did really well against him. So you're gonna have to look at that moving forward. Listen, the one thing I did like about him after the fight, he did a speech about the war in Israel and Palestine.
Right, yeah.
And I liked what he said, you know, because yeah, of course he leans to the side of Palestine, but he also leans to the side of let's stop war altogether, right?
Right.
Those two countries have been doing this forever.
Yeah,
I don't know why I don't know why people think this just started happening. This has been happening forever. And I'm not going to pick a side in this war because I don't know enough about it, but I do know one thing. I know the Palestinians have been oppressed for a long time. I do know that. So I mean they're a poor country, and I Israel is a country that went through a lot of stuff from the Holocaust to now, and it's something that has to get resolved, and hopefully some way somehow smarter people can get involved to make sure there is no war. And that's just it's horrendous what's going on. But on the weekend, the amount of support for Palestine during the UFC was incredible.
Right. Yeah. Say what you want.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I have friends in Israel too, so
Me too, and I do too. So that's the fun. I have dear friends that are on the Palestinian side, and I have friends that are on the Israeli side, and I let them know that I'm a Croatian Canadian, so I don't have a dog in this fight. But I'll let everybody know this too, right? That this is something that's been, we all talk about like what's happening in Palestine. We talk about what's happening in Ukraine, but this stuff has been happening in Africa. Okay, everybody. So you like people, and this is not a political show, but you when everybody starts to watch, like remember we had a show many years ago, and we were talking about Canada Day, and I love what you said about it. You said at one point, I watched the episode the other day. That's why I remember this. And you said, it's funny how Canadians think that we've never done anything wrong. We're just like we're the Switzerland country. We've never done anything wrong. But then we start to find out about, oh, wait a second, we've done a lot wrong. Mm-hmm. Oh, and then Jesse, the historian, starts naming all the things that Canada has done wrong in the last so many hundreds of years, and that's what people have to start understanding, that no country is beyond atrocities.
Yeah.
And so the only thing we can preach about on the Me and Jesse podcast is probably peace, because I'm a proud Croatian, but we've had Jolina on our show who's Serbian, and people don't realize like there's been that rift between the two countries forever. But at the same time is Croatia's a free country now, but at the same time is Jolina's a great person, she really is. So, this is how the world has to become. It has to become, a thing about freedom and about peace and about, and it's just, it's awful when you see children dying, it's just like kids are dying on both sides, everybody. It's not it's both sides. And I don't. From the Me and Jesse podcast, we just don't want to see people dying for no reason.
Well, everybody, thanks so much for watching tonight, and another crazy week in the NFL. Man, oh man, I don't even know. The game
Crazy. It was for all you fantasy football people, not a good one.
Oh yeah, you had to pick teams. If you had to pick wins, like there were some ones that were very shocking. Niners and Vikings tonight. It might actually be all right. This game, and
I like Cousins. I can't believe their record's not better.
Yeah,
I like.
Too. I think they had some bad beats, but they some close ones. But yeah, I like Cousins a lot. I really do. I think
Me
he's
too.
A good guy in general, and so. Yeah, but the Niners look good too, so it is one. It should be a decent game. I do actually think it will.
Yeah,
be good. And if CMC,
I won't miss the Monday nighter, but I've been passing on the Thursday.
Oh,
the
Thursday's garbage.
I just can't do it, man. I don't know what it is. It's like unless the Raiders play, I can't watch it, and it's like there's just something about the Thursday nighter I just can't get into.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. I don't know why we keep doing this to ourselves. I just don't get it. But
yes, Sunday, Monday, done. Yeah, done.
I like that
yeah.
too.
Me
well,
too.
everybody, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much, Backscape, for all your backscaping needs. Male grooming, fastest growing male grooming company on the planet.
On the planet. Is that cool to say?
Yeah, it is.
That's cool to say. And don't forget, everybody, Crystal Glass, your clear choice for all your glass needs. Call 310 Glass or go to crystalglass.ca today.
Yeah. Well, what are you doing now? You gonna watch the game?
I am going to watch the game and have dinner with Mrs. P.
All right. Sounds
and
good.
I'm traveling this week.
Where?
Vancouver.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it started snowing in Edmonton today. I got to go. I got to go.
It's been snowing all day. What the hell?
It's unbelievable.
I mean, it's believable. It happens every year to us.
Not in this early in October?
Yeah,
no.
Usually not till Halloween.
Not till Halloween. Yeah, that's right. Poor kids got to go out with shit all over them. And, oh, my God. It's
you got to wear a toque when they're trick-or-treating.
Yeah, they do.
We'll see you next time. That's Mark Pavelich. I'm Jesse Martineau. This has been the Me and Jesse podcast. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks for watching the Me and Jesse podcast. Follow us at facebook.com/Me and Jesse.